Hello, my dear YouTube viewer. Hope you're well today. I have something a little different for you today. I have had a few retail stores in the past decades, and sold toys and posters. This is where I get a lot of these posters back here from the stock when I closed my last store. And I dealt a little bit in comic books also, and that leads me to today's video. We bought a house and cash is a little tight. Got a contractor working on it, so my wife's a little worried, so I thought I'd take something out of the vault and get some cash for it. And this is that. Okay, now for those of you who are not familiar with comic books, I'm going to try to explain what this is. It's kind of light shining on it, but this is a journey into mystery. Can't quite get the glare off of there. It's in a very protective kind of a case. It's called a Mylar. This is a Journey into Mystery 83, and the number, is right here. Let's see if I can see that, number 83. What this is the first appearance of the mighty Thor, introducing the mighty Thor. It's a Marvel comic. Marvel makes the Amazing Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, the Fantastic Four, and a few other superheroes. The Mighty Thor is one of them. And it's not the most popular, but this particular comic, I think because of, it's called a key issue, because it's one of their most important issues. I just took it down to a comic shop to have him tell me what he thought and make an offer. The comic shop offered me $1,000 for this comic book, and he told me it was a 4.5, which is the grading system they go on from, I guess, from 0 to 10. He told me it's a 4.5 in his opinion, offered me $1,000, said it was worth $1,700. There's a comic book price guide. In the guide, a 9.2, I think it was a near mint minus. They listed this comic for $24,000. So I thought about that. You take a comic book into someplace and they offer you $1,000. That's very tempting, but since it's worth $1,700, I proposed a counter offer, which I thought would be fair. I said, well, how about $1,200 in cash and $300 in store trade? And he declined that. He says, no, $1,000, that's all I'm going to offer you. So I said, okay, well, let me see if I can do anything better. I put it on eBay for $1,700 and explained the situation, saying I took this into a comic shop, and the guy told me, it was a 4.5. They call it a VG for very good. And that he offered me $1,000. I wanted to see if I could get more, so I put it up to $1,700, which is what the comic shop guy told me. Somebody offered me $1,400. I turned that down, and then somebody else bought it, but they never paid for it, which I thought that was a little, there was a little more to it, because the guy that ended up buying it that time had a very low feedback, if you're familiar with eBay, and all of the feedback had been from the guy who had made the offer for $1,400. So that kind of got me thinking there was some sort of relationship between those two accounts, and maybe the guy who had offered $1,400 had a buyer for, you know, $1,700 or maybe more, because I said this grading is relative, and this is valued up to $24,000 depending on how it's graded. So I'm thinking maybe he took it off the market since I didn't. He wanted it off the market so he could sell to this. You know, that's just speculation on my part. But the guy that used the Buy It Now feature never paid. So I put it on again, and somebody just recently bought it and paid for it. So now my concern. Until this transaction's finished, I'm worried, because, you know, I mean, $1,700, that's a little chunk of change there. So my worry now is that when I send this comic to the person who paid for it, that they're going to say they didn't receive the item, it wasn't the right item, something. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm going to try to make a video of me putting this into the envelope at the post office and going to insure it and all that. But you know, my sister was selling some Beanie Babies a few years back, you know, 10 years or whenever, when they were popular, and she sold a few on eBay, and one of her customers who bought an expensive Beanie Baby, it was nowhere near this amount of money, but they claimed they didn't receive the item. So against my advice, she sent them another one. I think it was like a $100 item or something like that. And because the post office, I haven't had a problem with the post office. You know, if there's anything, it's the person doing the delivery, which is where the problem would come in. They said, well, maybe you made a mistake and, you know, put the wrong item in and got something switched up. But back to her story. She said, so she sends them another Beanie Baby, another $100 Beanie Baby, and they said they didn't receive that one either. So she sends them a third one. So they paid $100 for a $100 Beanie Baby and got three $100 Beanie Babies. And it just, so here I am with the comic book that I have sold for $1,700, and I'm hoping this person's honorable, and the transaction goes well. Anyway. Oh, a side note, I was going to do this. When I was in that comic shop, talking to the owner about the credit, he started showing me around his shop a little bit, and I was thinking, well, you know, if he went for the deal, what would I spend it on in his store? And I said, can I take a look around your store? And we started with the first thing he showed me was the first rack was, there were some books on it, and this book, and this thing's a monster. This book was on a rack, and it's Little Nemo in Slumberland. This thing is massive. Here, just to show you a little bit of scale, if it's not enough, here's a comic book. And this thing's huge. Little Nemo in Slumberland, again with that glare. This is wrapped in plastic. I'll try to do it at an angle so it doesn't shine. It's Little Nemo in Slumberland. So Many Splendid Sundays. I haven't even opened it yet. There's a price on this corner, up here, and that says, how do I get there? $125 for this book. So, what I did was, since he didn't give me the credit, I didn't go in there to buy. I'm trying to raise money. So I looked on the internet because I've been looking for Little Nemo. Little Nemo is from an author, not an author, an artist. It was a comic strip in the early part of the 20th century, 1904 to 1914, maybe, in the New York area, New York City. I believe it was in the Sunday paper. If you like comic strips, Little Nemo in Slumberland, spectacular stuff. So they did some reprints, I think in the late 80s, early 90s. They've reprinted it a few times, and the reprint was about the size of this envelope, and they came out with a series of 6 of them. I bought one and ended up giving it away as a gift to somebody, and now they're out of print, and they're collectible and worth money. But anyway, since then I was if I see some Little Nemo in Slumberland, I'm interested. I'm a fan. So when I saw this book, I thought, well, let me see if I can find it used on the internet, or even new. Maybe it'll be cheaper. And much to my surprise, the cheapest I could find one was like $665. So I thought, okay. I went back and I bought this one for the $125, and I thought, well, I haven't even opened it yet. It's still in the plastic, as you can see. So if I want to, I could probably turn around and sell it, or try to sell it for a few $100s, at least double my money. Especially since it's new. The ones I was talking, the $665 was for a used copy. I think it came out in 2005. They've since come out with a second one, which is a complete other volume that's in addition to this one. That one's still available. But anyway, just thought I'd share this, with you, dear YouTube viewer. I don't know how often you come across stuff like this. I thought it might be something different for you to see, to be exposed to. So that's it for now. I got to get to the post office, and we'll let you know how everything turns out. Till then, peace.